Good morning, everybody. Today, we're out here doing a little bit of resource scouting. Typically, that's something good to kind of do. Uh, we've talked a lot in the past about bugging out, having multiple routes, multiple locations and stuff to actually bug out to. But something to do before any kind of disaster strikes is to obviously walk your routes, and most suggested by me to do it with your loadout. If you're going on foot, put your gear on and walk those back and forth, to and from, get to know the layout of the land and stuff, what to watch out for. But also, what you can do, and this can be done anytime throughout the course of your training, those routes you're going on, once you get in an established place that, this is bug out location 1, get established. And then if you have, take a smaller, lighter weight modular emergency kit with you, and then do a resource scouting. Make sure you take pen, paper, and a compass, and just in case you need it. And then you can make notes along the way in case you have other people in your group that may need to know how to get to a resource, like a freshwater spring, a nice stand of pine trees to get resources like pine resin, stuff to help start a fire, all that stuff. So that's kind of like, I'm on my job. I've well scouted out the places that I'm going to go, but this is just kind of a walk and talk kind of deal, and I figured I'd take you guys along with me so we could at least go over that topic. And with me, and this is one of the reasons I like these smaller 12-inch machetes. This is something I like to just take on little scouts and walks. It's really light, pretty useful. But in my path here, turn the camera around, maybe. So we got some briars here in my walking path. So now I can just come in here and clip them bad boys right out of my way. No muss, no fuss. So you'll never know what neat little things you could find. And normally, during normal non-catastrophe kind of days, they may not seem that useful outside their intended purposes, but you never know what you can run into. Up here, right in front of me, we have an old cattle fence or gate. Now it's still in really good shape, and that could be reused somewhere else to block off, or at least make it more difficult for someone to get through a particular location that you're at and maybe go into your bug out location. Or if nothing else, you could be used in part for a barricade against animals. And of course, I like barbed wire, and this thing here has, I'll just do that real quick so you can see it. I can tell if it's in focus. Plenty of barbed wire there. And obviously, making fish hooks, or literally just taking the wire, taking the barbs off of it, and then rolling some up, and you have some real stiff wire to use for whatever you need it for. So out here where I'm at, there's no shortage of barbed wire. A lot of property lines and fences and stuff out here, there's just gobsmacks of it. A lot of it's barbed wire, some of it's a solid stranded wire, and that's a nice, handy resource to be able to actually get a hold of and obtain. Consider too, along your route, and by the way, I'm not telling anybody to trespass. Now we're running under like a scenario, it's an emergency, natural disaster. Society is broke down, whatever scenario you want to run. But I mean, this is an extreme situation. So in general, don't break the law, don't trespass. But maybe it's on your property towards your route, and it can be like a waypoint, like an old shed, an old barn, an old house that no one's living in anymore. You know, you could use those for temporary stopping points, like little waypoints, so you get to your main location. And I did a camp out video at one such kind of place, and we're just about to come up onto it now. And the reason I'm bringing this up specifically is because there is a lot of potential in an emergency situation, especially if you got caught out and you just simply did not have the resources to do anything along your way. Now, like I said, no, I'm by no means am I telling people, like I said, I want to reiterate that. Obey the law, do not trespass, do not vandalize. Like I said, we're running under a scenario, you know, nothing has actually happened right now. So, like I said, this place is actually on the private property of the family, so I'm not trespassing before I take you any further in here, okay? Okay, so, like I said, some people who've seen some of my very earlier videos will recognize this place. Now, there's obviously going to be dangers. I mean, that's obvious. You know, wild animals, flying, stinging insects, snakes, spiders, rats, mice, you name it. It's not exactly the safest thing in the world to do. And, you know, you could not only that, you could be looking at dangerous molds and all that sort of thing. So all that to take into consideration before anybody makes a decision to do this. But, you know, if we're talking about a dead emergency here, it's kind of like, you know, well, at that point you kind of do what you got to do to survive. But that's why I wanted to reiterate that. So, I mean, I don't want to put the idea in anybody's head, then they just go out some random stranger's property, and then next thing you know, they're in trouble, or worse, somebody gets so extremely hurt in that debacle. So we got some olive and briars blocking the path here. Well, these really grew up over the last year. Then again, like I said, that's why I brought the little machete. All right, let's get in here now. Like I said, this is heavy yellow jacket season, and I am sure they would love to make their home in this place. So I could get lit up coming in here messing around. Like I said, that's a realistic risk. Yellow jackets, hornets, and brown wasp. This place would make a outstanding living place for their nests and colonies. So it's as I say, at your own peril. It's dark in here, so I'll whip out my old EDC flashlight. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy in here. Like I said, you know, I'm not fixing to fall through the floor. That's another thing you got to watch out. Like I said, now this place is real old. It's, like I said, it's a place for the family. However, right away, there's all kinds of resources just laying around here already, and there's even a hat. More dangerous to get to. Pots and pans. This section is caved completely in. And in my camping video, underneath is like a root cellar. And I mentioned that, going in there and getting little slabs of wood that used to be shelves. There's even a cooler. Plenty of glass vessels. Like I said, in the right situation, this place could be a haven to get supplies. But like you said, you know, it's not without its own dangers. And like I said, we're taking the risk of coming in here, but There's even a table. I said there's even old clothing. However, you know, like I said, I'm not telling anybody to do anything. And there's a big score for wire, a whole bunch of metal hangers. My main thing is just kind of showing you what you could find. Not that you would find. There's a bar of soap, I think. Like I said, you know, I could fall through the floor here, be severely injured. Old shower. Toilet and toilet plunger. Oh, that's not a bar of soap. Kind of look like it. Alright, let me reset camera here real quick, guys. There's another room here. It's got old mattresses and box springs. There's another cooler. Nothing else. That'd make a nice container. I said you want to be careful though, because digging around in any place like this, been abandoned for a while, you could stir up a hornet's nest, figuratively and literally. This is going up the second stairs here real quick. This is real dangerous in old abandoned houses, going upstairs. But I done been here, pretty well know the state of the place. However, that doesn't make it safe. So, baby crib. And here we are on the second floor. And this is pretty dangerous here. Roof's filled in. That's pretty well filled in. So we got in there a cooler. Yeah, there's all doors, paneling. So there's stuff here that if you had, you could, if possible, you could take go to shelter. Now, ideally, if you could find some simple tools, would be nice. This room's a little worse for the wear. Not much in there to scavenge through. Here we got another room. Oh, it's got an old closet. Some workout equipment. Dressers. And now up to the top loft, which is the most exposed and probably most dangerous, I'd assume. Yeah, there's a few semi-useful items laying up here. However, most of it is covered in turkey buzzard droppings. They've been using this for a nest for many, many, many years. There's a whole bunch of feathers, downy duff, probably from young hatchlings that grew up. But yeah, as you can see, quite dangerous. So I'm not really going to poke around up in here a whole lot, just for the sake of not pissing anything off or potentially something collapsing in on me. But yeah, there's not a whole lot up here, to be honest with you, but you know, I thought I would just show it off. I'm gonna guess raccoon or possum, maybe. Well, I hope that was entertaining, or at least interesting. But the thought-provoking experiment kind of thing I'm doing here is, if you have access to these things, or if you're on good terms with the individuals that may have these things on their property, get with them. So, you know, hey, you know, I'm putting together a disaster plan, and if at all possible, you know, during a crisis, you know, hey, can we utilize your shed, your barn, you know, maybe some old abandoned house on your property? You know, talk with them, work something out. They may actually be quite interested in that concept and maybe even work with you on it. So, but they're a nice place to, as dangerous as an abandoned house can be, for like a real quick emergency place to get out of, like a rainstorm or something of that nature. Or if it's really kind of cold out, you know, you've been walking, you know, you got a long ways to go, that could be a nice little intermediate stop to take a rest, get some food and water in you, whatever have you. But just some food for thought. You know, like all my other videos, you know, I at least try to put an idea out there for you guys to kind of break down, look at it yourself, and maybe come up with something you hadn't necessarily thought of. But having a good backup plan for your bug out locations is potentially really important. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket, as I say. But we'll go ahead and end the video. Like I said, guys, obey your laws. Don't do anything you're not supposed to do. Like I said, this is a thought experiment. Like I said, if you want to do this sort of thing, try to figure out a way to do it legal, if at all possible. Like I said, now, if it's an emergency, it's life or death, you know, like I said, all bets are off. It's better to be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6. So, you know, do with that as you will. But with that, I very much appreciate you all watching. And like I said, we are getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers. So anybody just happens to pop on and watch this, if you would subscribe, kind of really help me out. But for everybody, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all soon in another video.